Hey guys, thanks for listening to The Cynical Nerd. Please keep in mind that we do not avoid spoilers for any of our topics, whether they are current or past media. Listen at your own risk. What do you got, a Bang energy drink like the Zoomers? You Gen Z-ing it up?
I am worse than a Bang energy drink.
Okay.
I am a C4.
I've never even heard of it. I don't even know what it is. Tell me about it.
They have...
Tell me about our new sponsor. Just kidding.
Tell me about our new sponsor that doesn't exist. I swear to God, please, legal team, don't sue me to believe in. Yeah, it's, I don't know. My buddy, one of my work friends was telling me about it, and the one that doesn't exist. And,
right. Yeah, fuck that guy.
And he was like, oh, I picked up this energy drink while I was driving home from Florida or something. And he's like, oh, there's a Skittles flavor, which is immediately a turn off to me.
Right,
because like I don't eat sweets really. So saying something like Skittles or Starburst flavored, I just want to like that. Just the thought of how sweet I know that is makes me want to throw up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. I'm done.
Oh, okay. That's the whole story. There was a shot back in the day that made me think of, there was a shot back in the day called a Skittle Bomb. And this girl I was talking to loved them. And so I had to drink them all the time because I wanted to go to her house and have sex with her after the bar. So I'd be like, should I get a Skittle Bomb? Constantly. And I hated them. It was just like a burst of sugar in my mouth. Totally forgot that. That's just like a memory core unlocked in the middle of your C4 explanation. That was I'm happy you brought that back for me. Thank you.
It was a sugar burst in your mouth and then a cum burst in your pants.
Right, exactly. In that order. Yeah.
All right. Listen, I gotta tell you something.
Say it to me.
In continuing tradition of our openers historically being about our kids and or our SOs, in the car on the way home today, I finally got all the confirmation I'll need for the rest of my life. My son told me in front of my wife that I was funnier than she is.
Oh, fuck yes, dude.
She was so
wonderful,
offended. I could hear it in her voice. And then he tried to backtrack it. And I was like, no. Own up
Too
to
late.
it.
Yeah.
He was like, Dad is funnier. And I hear Sam, what? And then he's like, well, you're both really silly. And I was like, no.
Stop.
Yeah,
don't back out now.
Yeah.
You got to commit to that shit.
Yeah. I need you to stand tall, my son, and dig your heels in.
I wrote that shit down.
I wrote it down in my journal later that night. We were off last week for personal reasons. None of your fucking business, internet.
Right. Yeah,
but please go buy some of our merch. We have
go fuck yourself, but give us money too.
Yeah, we have a merch store out there still, in case you forgot. And I'm just going to do this at the front. If you like anything you hear that we say today, Facebook.com/The Cynical Nerd, YouTube, we are The Cynical Nerd, Twitter, TikTok, it's all at The Cynical Nerd, baby. You can tweet at us if you like, hashtag AskTCN for a question. Hashtag fuck TCN if we fuck something up. I listened back to last week's episode. I don't always listen back to them anymore. But I did listen back and I said something wrong and I completely forget what it is at this point in time.
Oh shit, so, damn it. I want to know now.
Yeah.
You were going to fuck TCN yourself.
It had to do with Fargo. I remember saying Fargo and I meant that's what it was. I was talking about Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and we were talking, the whole little bit we did where if one of them did a movie, the other one would be pissed off about it if he didn't include him. And I said Fargo. I meant Argo in my head, but I said Fargo. Hashtag
and I probably just
TCN.
agreed. I probably went, yeah, they were in that. It probably just flew right past me.
There was no correction to be had. I feel like a broken record. We say this all the time. Very tired today. So I got the C4. Yeah. I'm only going to sip like a quarter of it because if I drink this thing, I won't fall asleep until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Although I do work from home tomorrow, so it's not the worst, but no one wants to do that.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, hit me with it. Let me hear it.
What did you do with my Norse god of a friend, Derek? And who are you, handsome? Hey!
Yeah, I got a haircut, and I was hoping maybe we could just not acknowledge it and just.
Are you not happy with it?
I'm happier with it than I expected I would be. Like, I'm not kidding. I was like, I really worked this up in my head, and I was like, I'm going to look like a weird person because I'm not getting rid of the beard. The beard is going to stay. And the dude knew what he was doing. He was trying to talk me out of it. He's like,
really?
This is going to take you like 3 years to grow back. I'm like, I know. He's like, are you sure you want to take all of this off? I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I made this decision before I came in. Now you're making me sick to my stomach. No, it's just, here's what it is. I'm not going to suck up a whole lot of pod time about my hair, but the decision was based purely in the state and health of my hair. The last time I grew my hair out very long, I was like 15, 16 years old. And when you're 15, 16 years old, you don't have to take care of yourself. Your body, you're filled to the brim with cum. And that's what makes your hair and everything look so healthy. I never really I washed my hair, of course. But I never did anything crazy. I don't think I ever combed it when I was a kid, ever. And so I just thought like, oh, that's how it is. I'm just lucky. Well, not when you're 34 years old. The hair was real frayed. It was tangled. I started to thin out in the back. And I was like, you know what? I think I just need to fucking start from the top, literally, pun fully intended, and just actually take care of it this time around. So I'm growing it right back out. This isn't like, I'm not like over the long hair phase.
Right.
I'm just taking a break.
Okay.
So give me 2 years and I'll be back there, baby. I'll be going like this again.
Nice.
Be top knotting it, you know?
I like it, baby. I think it looks very handsome. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it looks very nice.
Thank you. I think you look handsome too. I'm not just saying that because you said it to me. I felt that way before you said that. I just thought, well, it would be weird if I just came out and said that, but we're talking about my hair. You had an opportunity to mention it. So now it's like, okay, I can say it back. I can say it back, right?
Now it's okay. Now it's okay. Very good. Very good. Thank you. This is, Jesus. I'm on a new computer. We haven't recorded a podcast, I don't think, on my new rig yet, but we have recorded. Oh, what a good segue. 2 more episodes of A Way Out. A Way Out Part 2 is live on our YouTube channel today. It went up for some reason because, I don't know, we have 33 subscribers. It takes like fucking a day to upload an hour and a half long video from like the worst quality imaginable to HD. So as of recording, it looks like it's done and HD's up there. You can go watch it if you want to check it out. Derek and I have been having an absolute blasty blast playing it.
Wasn't that episode 3 though? I thought it was part 3.
Yeah, part 2 just went up.
Oh, I got you.
Because it was a little delayed because of the new rig.
Right.
Part 3 I'll put up probably in a couple of days, probably maybe middle of the week. I want to space them out a little bit. And yeah, it's been a
super good time. It's been at last. I don't want to spoil it. Don't want to spoil it here, even though we have the no spoilers. But that's for other people's shit. We will still not spoil our things.
Yeah. Because
there has to be some incentive for the listener to go watch them.
Yeah.
But the hospital sequence is very cool. It was a very, very good time.
Was very cool. And that'll be episode 3. That'll be going up in a couple of days, probably Wednesday, Thursday. Just to give you a little spread. I know they're hour and a half videos, and I know all of you watch them from beginning to end. So I really thank you for doing that. A lot. Just ignoring your wife and kids, or ignoring your husband and kids. Yeah, going to work late, staying up too late. Really putting in the hours to let us know that you care.
It's a lot.
But all of that was to say, we're back, baby. It's episode 94. In the continuing countdown of life, my second son becomes ever closer to being born into this world.
That was the coolest way you could have said that.
Being brought asunder from the womb to rise. We're going to jump right into it. A lot of this stuff is from a week ago because I didn't want to do a mega-sode. I want to keep it the way it is, and then we'll catch up to the current shit next week. A lot of this stuff is still current. We've just gotten some more details about it over the last week, or we included another. For example, our main topics this week. Derek rewatched Flashpoint Paradox. We're going to talk about that. We watched Strange World, which, holy shit, I forgot. I watched that at this point. Yeah. We're going to talk about the game Hogwarts Legacy. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. If the fact that we both spent money on that game is a turn off to you, I'm sorry. I genuinely mean that. I didn't have the willpower to do what I agree with is probably the right thing, which is to keep money out of her pocket. And I just wasn't the best ally I could have been, but we're going to talk about it. And if that,
I'm even worse because I bought that and Atomic Heart. So I'm like,
shit.
So at least there's somebody in the room who's like worse than you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're actually making me feel better right now.
Yeah, right.
But
You're welcome,
listen,
buddy.
if someone was mad at, look, I know we're not a big podcast, but if someone was actually like, sorry guys, I'm not going to support you, I'd be like, okay, sure. No skin off my back. I understand if you were to make that decision. We actually like our ridiculous, 4 or 5 man group chat that has like, if that chat ever was seen by the light of day, I'd probably get thrown in jail along with the rest of you guys.
Dude, I was thinking about that earlier today, and I got nervous about it. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, what if somebody cracked into that? That would be,
Yeah. You know what makes that worse? Sons of the Forest.
Right.
I glanced back. And in my head, yeah, you scared me. You're like Virginia. Come here. We're gonna say hi. I need you to say goodnight really quickly because we have to get moving. So hang on, hold still, sit there.
What's up, dude? Oh yeah, he can't hear me yet. What's up, Gray? Do you like my haircut?
Say hi. Are you gonna say?
How would
anything?
you rate it from a 1 to a 10? Not sure. Speechless. I think it left your dad speechless too.
Oh right. Okay. They'll say goodnight. Hey, wait. I got a question. Who's funnier, me or mommy?
Both of you.
Oh, come on. That's not what you said earlier. All right. I love you. Go downstairs. Okay. All right. As a wild person. Hey, downstairs. I love you too.
I love you. Hey, downstairs.
Hey, GTFO. I don't even know what he's talking about. I didn't expect that interruption. He hasn't been doing it the past couple episodes.
We were sort of not really apologizing for playing Hogwarts Legacy and me for a time.
Right. Listen, I know we're not a big podcast, but if someone said, I'd accept that answer. I get it. We had a big conversation in group chat. That's what I was saying. And yeah, I legitimately, I can see. Whatever. I'm going to stop harping on it. I'm going to dig myself a deeper hole. The moral of the story is I bought it and I'm having a great time with it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that later. And then we're going to talk about The Last of Us episodes 6 and 7. And because we're both old men now, those episodes are blending together for me. So we're going to have to talk about them as one big chunk and just current state of the show. We'll go from there. First up, Derek, in episode 94 of The Cynical Nerd is a picture.
There's a picture.
It's a picture of Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, Lady Gaga. And Joaquin Phoenix. And it was a post from Todd Phillips back on Valentine's Day, which was just about 2 weeks ago at this point, for the Joker Folia
Challenge me to one time have us talk about this movie on the podcast and say it like the way it's supposed to be said without doing it. There's just not a possibility.
Do you want me to challenge you? Because I think we'll both fail miserably.
I don't think there's a point.
Yeah. It's just he just posted a little behind the scenes sneakity peekity, and it's a still image. What do you want to say? It looks cool. I'm excited to see what they do with it. We heard hints that there was a musical aspect to it. That feels crazy, but also kind of somehow right on brand. So
I agree. Plus, if you got Lady Gaga, you might as well, put them pipes to work.
Lady Gaga.
As in her singing, of course. Not her gagging.
Yeah, no. The clarification makes it worse. All right, the next one. Look, there's a big Entertainment Weekly article from Kevin Feige talking about Phase 5 Kang, the future of the MCU. I'm not going through a bunch of nitty gritty details here, and I'll tell you why. I was going to, and then I thought that feels like a really deep dive into. Really, what I want to get across with this is one, Ant-Man and the Wasp had the second steepest drop off of any Marvel film. I think it was like 70%.
Yeah.
So it really shows it's huge. It really shows their demographic of like the people who are going to see it. They're going to see it right away. And then no one else gives a shit until it's on a streaming service, which is exactly, I like Paul Rudd. He's a charming individual and I will watch this movie when I can watch it without paying for it out of pocket. And Jonathan Majors, even though the movie got very mediocre, middling reviews even, is apparently a highlight. Everyone thinks he's doing a great job as Kang. That's heartening to me because the biggest part of the next series of Marvel films is going to live or die on how good the villain is, right? Like, you got to have a good villain. Josh Brolin, obviously a talented guy, but a big CGI monster. I'm super excited that Jonathan Majors is just a really solid actor who is in more than one topic of ours for today, which has happened several times in the past. I
think he's got 3 spots today. Pretty sure.
It sounds probably like it. But so the general onus of this movie, besides Quantum Mania, me just pushing in there that Quantum Mania didn't do all that great in second week, is that they're going to be pulling back a little bit on streaming services. Some stuff had come out that it seems like Kevin Feige is acknowledging they might be oversaturating the superhero genre themselves with, he didn't say this, I'm putting words in his mouth, but one might call suboptimal or subpar entries, things that not everybody loves, which is fine. You can do some niche stuff, but when you're just throwing like buckets of Marvel content at people, they're moving a couple of films around. Miss Marvel's getting pushed back a little bit. There are rumors that that's because of the VFX artists from Quantum Mania who have been vocal in the super hardcore pressing of Marvel to get things done in a timely manner. There's little tidbits in here like Kevin Feige saying they now know where they're going to introduce the X-Men. They know how they're going to make them fit in. Mm-hmm. There's conversations about how he's excited to see what Gunn does over at DC, and he really thinks things are in a good hands. So this is like a really wide-ranging article. Here's one last little tidbit. Harrison Ford taking over as Thunderbolt Ross. He's going to be the president in the new Captain America movie. Mm-hmm. So apparently Thunderbolt Ross is becoming this. And look, Harrison Ford, Air Force One, it's a classic action film. I'm not even shitting you. I've told you my penchant for shitty action films like the 90s.
Oh, same, baby.
Really like The Fugitive, Con Air. Well, sorry, Fugitive's great. Con Air, The Rock with Sean Connery and Nick Cage. Like, I love them. They're so stupid. Clear and Present Danger, There you go.
I feel like this is like with all this, a lot of the stuff that you hear about Phase 5 now and Kang and all that, it's all like sort of decisions that are being made behind closed doors. And I feel like that's what's happening with James Gunn taking over DC. And there's this weird, like, it's like the advertisement for the movies is the creators talking about them. And I feel like this is stupid. This has nothing to do with anything, but I honestly feel like it's because of James Cameron talking all that shit before Avatar 2 and then it doing really well. And I think like other places are going like, we need to do that too. Like we need to just talk about our movies instead of like showing trailers and this and that. We just need to talk about like our ideas and why it's going to work and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like it's a form of advertisement for them. You ever realize like I have seen more like articles about what Kevin Feige has to say about the new upcoming than actual like promotional material. I feel like it's an advertising ploy. I think that James Cameron is just an asshole and it just worked for some reason. And now everyone else is trying to do it. That's all. That's the only hat I have to toss in here. Yeah.
A couple other small little tidbits. The Blade movie is rolling cameras in like 10 weeks. So with Mahershala Ali, I'm actually looking forward to that. Me too. Love Mahershala Ali.
Excellent.
I think he's fantastic talent. And the fact that, if Marvel can still pull talent like that into roles, that's how you keep these movies from becoming just, well, what Quantum Mania was to a lot of people. And I don't want to keep ragging on that film because I haven't seen it, but I've heard people say everything from it's really bad, it's every other Marvel movie, to it's not that bad, it's still a good time. Mm-hmm. Paul Rudd's cute. It's the Star Wars of the MCU, But
Paul Rudd is cute though.
Paul Rudd is a handsome devil. I actually threw that in for me. I didn't hear anybody say that. I just feel like Paul Rudd's cute. Couple gray hairs in there.
They're a coming.
2 more points, and then I'll leave you alone with the Marvel stuff. Tom, they mentioned that they have a 4th story. They said they have the story for the next movie. We have big ideas for that. I talked to you off pod about this recently. Mm-hmm. We rewatched No Way Home because of Grayson. Grace wanted to see Spider-Man, so we put it on. And Samantha, loves that movie too. And that's one of those movies where you and I saw this together in theaters, and I will never forget. That's like a burned in friendship memory.
It's a very good time
of seeing it with you. And like, I know how much Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man means to you. I know he's your favorite.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, before you go any further,
I'm ready.
Let me just hit you with this relic. Okay, it's still there. We still got
Yes!
it. Big old Dick Haver. I just noticed that was for some reason still saved in my scene. So yeah, huge. I'm a Tobey Maguire representative, in fact. Sorry, please continue.
That's fantastic. Oh, that's like episode 4, dude.
I know,
That is going back.
It's taking it back 90 episodes ago.
Senator Haver. Oh, man. Yeah, so if you don't know what we're talking about, go look through our library. It's like the 3rd or 4th episode. There's a bunch of Spider-Men on the cover. We debated who was the best one. I picked Tom Smallhands, as Derek lovingly referred to him as. But I told you that, we rewatched it, and that seeing that movie in theaters, I remember, like, it's like watching a great comedy with a great audience, except for with a superhero film. And Garfield came out, big audience cheer. We're all happy to see him, despite his movies being pretty dookie. He was always good. Yeah. And then Maguire comes out, and you were so stoked that you were shaking the recliner. Like, we're leaning back at them
in an alarming way.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm like, oh, we're on a bucking bronco. And I worry that, like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I only loved that movie so much because the experience that I had with it. And watching it again in full at home, I personally still think it's a really good, over the top, but really good origin story for this Peter. He never got one. We got, like, I don't want to call him premature. That sounds weird. we got like this young Spider-Man who had not a care in the world. We never met an Uncle Ben. He only had Aunt May, single parent, and he didn't have any hardships to go through. And even in the first movie, he learned lessons as a hero, but he didn't learn the lesson until the 3rd movie in his trilogy. And I thought, what better way to have him learn the lesson than to have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. There's I know I'm rambling, but there's a touching moment, that great line where he's like, she said, with great power. And then Maguire finishes it with great responsibility. It's what Uncle Ben said the day he died. Mm-hmm. I will cry to this day. If I put it on right now, guaranteed, if I need to cry, it'll happen immediately. Yeah.
I got to watch again. I haven't since we saw it in theaters. It was a really good, solid memory. Have not. I'm kind of afraid to, though, because I loved what's it called when we went and saw it? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where it was called. I was like over the moon for that movie.
I think it's different.
I watched it at home. That's a fucking bad movie, man. It's really not good.
I think this is different. Actually, I obviously it's not a main topic. I'd love for you to rewatch it sometime soon and tell me what you think.
I'm down. I'm downtown, baby. All the way around.
The Goblin. Willem Dafoe's the goat. The Goblin and Spider-Man fight in the apartment building when they're like suplexing each other through floors. Yeah. It's so good. I want you to watch it again. Okay, moving on. What do we got next? What's in? No phone. I didn't ask for your attention. Next up in the dock is, guess what? We've been talking about this game called Returnal for a long time because I wanted to play it but didn't want to buy it.
Right.
And now I might just buy it. Yeah. Returnal came out for PC. It's the latest in a string of Sony porting console exclusives to PC, and I couldn't be happier that this trend is continuing. Yeah. And this is apparently an example of a port done right, done well. It's got upgraded resolutions, upgraded textures. It is apparently running very well on PC. This game came out in 2021. It was like a PS5 launch title or close to a launch title.
I think it was a launch title.
Yeah, it's a roguelite-ish. I really want to play it, and I might end up picking up the game now that it's on PC. If maybe only I could find it slightly cheaper, like maybe on a third-party website.
Yes. 60 bones is a lot for. I've only heard good things about it, though. I'll say that. Like, I don't know. I know what you just said, that it's like a roguelike, a roguelite. I don't even understand the distinction, but I know it's about Groundhog's Day, Returnal, right? Returnal. Yeah. We get it. And that's it.
He play as Bob Murray or Bill Murray. I said Bob Murray.
Bob Murray.
That's his stepbrother. Nobody likes.
Not quite as tall. Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be the episode, right? Bob Murray. Oh my God.
Shit, but yeah, no. All I've heard is that it's very good. I've never really heard anything bad about it. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna drop 60 on a risk
On Bob Murray.
On Bob Murray. Nuh-uh.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Looks good if you're interested. If you were interested in that game and don't have a PS5 and wanted it, it's now on PC. If you're like me and like to punish your wallet, then I might pick it up. Anyway, Derek, I have a question for you.
Hit me with it. Hit me with your question.
Did you ever like the DreamWorks series? Oh, I'm sorry, Universal series. I thought it was. Oh, okay. Sorry. It is a Universal/DreamWorks. That's why I was kind of right, kind of wrong. I was technically right, which is the best kind.
Right.
Chef, did you ever like the How to Train Your Dragon series of animated films?
I don't know if you're being a dick, but I did really like them.
I'm not being a dick. I love them.
See, yeah. So the same girl, the Skittle Bomb girl from earlier, we would get high and we would watch How to Train Your Dragon. So she got brought up twice. It's weird.
Episode
I'm not going to say her real
Return of
name.
Skittlebomb.
Her first name's Sarah, but there's been a lot of Sarahs in my life. So, you figure it out, listeners. Yeah, no, we would get stoned out of our minds and we would watch those movies. And like years later, I watched them again. I'm like, I wonder if I just like, well, what we were just saying about Spider-Man. Like, I wonder if I just like tied a good memory to watching it. And that's why, whatever. And no, they're very good.
They're very good. Yeah.
I don't think I watched. There's 3, right?
Yeah, I didn't see the third one.
Me neither. I only saw the first 2 and they were exceptional. They were very good.
They're both very entertaining.
Yeah.
They're not like the best animated film I've ever seen,
Yeah, no.
but they're really good.
Yeah.
And so
glad.
the hidden
Happy to hear that.
the hidden world. No, I was not. The Hidden World was the third one. It came out in 2019. I've never seen it. It looks like they might be adapting it to live action. And of course, when you say live action, I chortle a bit. I look down my nose a bit because I get spoilers for you guys. Dragons aren't real.
Yeah, they're not real things. Unless it's Game of Thrones, then of course they are.
So really the riders are all live action and everything else will still be fake, just like the original movies. But yeah, I mean, look, Sadie scared the shit out of me. Do I think
the forest too much?
Okay. Do I think this needs to happen? Of course not. Of course it doesn't need to happen. Hollywood is obsessed with reboots and remakes. This is pretty fresh. The last movie just came out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Would I still be cool and happy to? Would I still be happy to watch it and think it was cool? Probably. So like, let's do it, right?
I wonder if they'll get Jay Baruchel. I never knew how to say that one. Every time, I guess. I wonder if they get Jay Baruchel to. You're like, get a load of this.
There's a Sadie. Yeah, look at this thing back here.
That's that Sadie lady. I wonder if they get him to play the lead. Is he old now? He was young for like 35 years. He has to be old now. Like, I'm going to look up a current picture.
I think he's been old for like most of those years. You just couldn't tell because he's got baby face.
Right. We'll do 2022. All right. I'll give you a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah, he still looks like a young fella. Good. All right, Jay. Good for you, pal.
Jay's in a movie that I consider underrated, mostly because it wasn't like gangbusters at the box office. League of Our Own, I think it was.
I don't think I saw that one.
She's
out of your league. She's out of your league.
She's out of your league.
That one, yeah, it was hilarious. What's his name was in it too from Deadpool? Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious, and we quote it all the time. Anyway, you want it? I'll show it. Oh yeah. Sorry, Sam likes to quote that line. She probably heard me and is going to text me.
She's out of my league. She's out of my league.
Yeah,
that's the name.
Great movie. It's very funny, very charming. I felt like it flew under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Next. Listen, I've joked about playing horror games in VR. I've only done it one time. It was the RE7 demo on the original PSVR. I don't know if you know anything about it, but you were, did you play 7 Biohazard?
Not all the way through.
Okay. Well, okay. If you played it at all, when you first get into the house, you're like in the kitchen and there's like gross tendrils and shit. If I remember correctly, the demo was like a little bit of movement, but then you are basically kidnapped. You like wake up, you're in tied to a chair in that kitchen, and a couple of the characters from the game like scare the shit out of you. And that was my first and so far only experience with horror in VR, because the shit, like, it was like the mom, and she comes up like right in your face, and it's like the screen's right here, you can't escape it, so
you can't back away, right?
When you exactly, and I did that. It's not like watching a movie where you can like look away, you look and it's still right there. So you're in a chair and you have to like wiggle the chair, like you have to like lean back and forth with the controllers. And I remember her popping up, and I like just threw my head back because I was like, nope. I took it right off. I was like, I'm done. I'm good with that.
Oh man,
I have since been tempted to stream Alien Isolation in VR because I feel like it would be really funny for other people to watch my fear. I don't know if I will, but this has nothing to do with this article. That's just me talking about fear in VR and how effective it can be. Not the least bit if you're claustrophobic. I'm not, but I would imagine that would make it even worse. There's a new PS5 VR horror game, and that will make things scarier if you blink. And what that means is the PSVR 2 has eye tracking built in. They can see which way your eyes are pointing, helps them in games. They can also see if your eyes are closed. And if you've ever seen a horror movie, sometimes it's like a blink and the creature, whatever it is all of a sudden way closer. Well, the game's going to do that to you with enemies. It's basically when you blink, it's going to yank enemies towards you so that when your eyes open, something that might be down the hallway, you blink and then all of a sudden it's right. I'll die.
Yeah, that's giving me the heebs just hearing about it. I don't like that at all.
It's giving me the heebs.
If you started to do VR horror streams, I would be present for every minute of every single one that you did. I just want you to know. I think that could be a huge hit. I think that should be our next TCS, is just you doing that and just me sitting behind you.
You watching? The video will just be my stream, but in the bottom corner will be your reaction to my stream. I mean, there are worse ideas out there.
Oh, God.
Speaking of worse ideas out there, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Jesus. Okay, listen, that was a very honest and decent segue, if you will. But I wanted to give some backstory before we jumped in. So there were a couple leaked screenshots. We talked about one like last episode, the episode before, of something that made it look like maybe a live action or live service model, because there was a lot of gear stuff and there was a battle pass. And I remember saying, like, I don't really care if it's a battle pass. Obviously, it would have to be cosmetic only. That's without a doubt. And the only positive thing about this article is that part seems to be true. It sounds like there is a battle pass. It is only cosmetic. However, this article, it says a lot of other stuff that's not super cool. They released a gameplay trailer. That's out there if you want to go look. It's like a 15-minute mission. And it looks really uninspired to me. And this is very painful for me to say. I love Rocksteady to death. They put out a trilogy of Batman games that hold a very special place in my heart. I've replayed all of them countless times. And this game to me could do no wrong. It was going to be amazing. Look, it still could be. It's not out yet. I haven't played it. But like every character is shooting, and it basically looks like a DC themed Overwatch third-person arena shooter. Like, everybody has guns, and everybody has like a couple of special moves unique to them. But
sort of
otherwise,
like Marvel Avengers,
right? People have made comparisons to that. Like Deadshot has a jetpack; he can hover and shoot. Harley has a grapple; she can grapple around and shoot. King Shark can jump he's really strong. He can jump really far. He's got a couple strong melee attacks, and he shoots. It's all coming back to the same kind of formula. Boomerang has like apparently stolen a gauntlet from Flash or something. He's got this like speed gauntlet. He can kind of almost teleport around and shoot. And it just like there's a lot of jokes about shooting purple orbs in this. They do shoot a lot of purple orbs. It looks uninspired. And the cynical okay, here we go, boys. He's gonna say the thing.
Oh, get ready.
The cynical nerd in me sees the gameplay trailer, and I believe Sefton Hill introduced it, if I'm not mistaken. He either introduced this or the second video they released alongside of it that talks more about everybody's moves. And Sefton Hill and the other co-founder of Rocksteady are leaving Rocksteady. We talked about this again a couple weeks ago. We read that they were leaving, and we thought, I hope this doesn't mean like they don't want to be around when this game comes out because they're not proud of it. And then I saw Sefton Hill introduce this, and I thought, oh, okay, so he's like still willing to put his face in front of it. The cynical nerd in me is thinking like maybe they're just like a part of his severance package is like, hey, help us until launch day.
Yeah.
And then
we'll
you can say that you had nothing to do with it. And it doesn't bode. I don't know. What did you think about this?
No, I agree. It just looks like I saw someone refer to it as a. Let me start from the beginning. I watched the gameplay video, and initially I went, "Whoa, this is so high octane action," and then I just noticed that it all seems really samey. Like zip by the enemies, shoot as many as you can. Zip by them, shoot as many as you can. It's like no matter what character, it seems like the same thing. It kind of reminded me of this is another sacrilegious thing to say, but I bought Anthem when it came out, and Anthem was the coolest video game ever for 45 minutes.
45 minutes,
and then,
yep.
And then you're like, oh, it's just this over and over and over and over again.
Tell me when you take off for the first time in Anthem, you don't go, this is really rad. I don't know what everyone's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't understand like what people were upset. I played as like the rogue one who had like a triple jump, and then they activated their fucking jet. Like I was like, this is so cool. You're so versatile. And then it's just like you do 3 missions, and it's like, oh, it's just these 3 missions over and over and over again. It's the same thing. You go to the same places. There's no like loot incentive. It's just whatever. Anyway, after the fact, when I went online where people are angry, and so I like to go there because it makes me angry too, and it just makes me feel good to be angry sometimes.
Yeah. And
somebody referred to it as, quote, another numbers go up game, end quote. And I just, something about that just resonated with me. And it's like, it really though, if you think about it, like there's this, where we are with video games now is everything has to be monetized. It has to be like sustainable for years. And so people are kind of shying away from multiplayer games for that reason, because it just creates these spots to sort of sell you new skins for your weapons, or, oh, unlock this character in Overwatch before other people do who didn't buy the battle pass. So in single player games, it's like you have to get a little bit trickier with it. And I feel like that's what's happening here. It's just a way to like get the 60 out of you and then keep getting money out of you. I don't know. I feel like there's this like reemergence. There's like a lot of throwback to the 2000s games like Evil West that just came out. There's a game called Wanted Dead I've been hearing a lot about. That's like there's like a very minimal progression system. Everything now is just like get the gun, and then in 5 minutes you might get a gun that's better than that, but it's a shotgun instead of a sniper. And so even though you're doing a sniper build, you have to switch to the shotgun because it's a numbers go up scenario. You just have to always be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be that. Like, I don't know if I saw enough in the trailers to say like, yeah, it's just Destiny, except your, DC Suicide Squad. But I do know, like you said, that the combat just didn't look good.
Yeah.
I know off pod, you had said that you're still interested in the story.
Yeah.
And I still have to play Arkham Knight. Well, I still have to beat City, as a matter of fact, but I never beat Arkham Knight is the point. And so like, I think that there still might be a dog in the race for me in that aspect as well. It's also, I think they know that it's Kevin Conroy's last work that he did. And so that's really going to boost some sales for them.
Yeah.
Of course you always like to be there for that kind of stuff, but yeah, no, it was kind of a letdown. I've been looking forward to this for a while, and it just seemed like a couple hits of bad news in a row. So I don't know.
So you never finished Arkham Knight?
No, but I know essentially the story. Like I know who the Arkham Knight is, and
do you know what happens at the end?
I don't think I do.
Okay, well then I won't talk about that. I was going to. I'm glad you said something. 100%. That's where I was going. Once you were done, your thoughts was that I am still at the very least on board with this for the story. Rocksteady has always felt like they were kind of writing a love letter to the world of Batman and those characters. The Arkham games are really, they like to do a lot of deep cuts from Batman's universe. And indeed, Nolan North, who voiced Penguin in the Arkham games, is coming back. It's the same character. This takes place in their Arkhamverse. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm really interested. If you saw the gameplay trailer, there's a cameo from Wonder Woman, who has not been taken over by Brainiac. And she uses her lasso of truth on Flash, who has been. We've seen a lot of him in the trailers. To get a shocking revelation, he literally says, and that's where the title of the game comes from. He's like, how do we stop Brainiac? And he says, you have to kill us, Diana. And it's like a very somber moment. And I think that despite the gameplay looking as samey and subpar as they do, I think that this has the chance to tell a cool story. And so I'm probably going to still show up for that.
And it's co-op, baby.
And it's co-op, baby. So I hope that it's better than it's looking right now. Here's the thing. We're seeing a lot of like gear screens that are really unappealing. Like just visually now they're gross. You're like, oh, cool. She's got a new purple bat that like has You're like, what? Like, why? That's stupid. I don't know. I can't judge it till it comes out fully. I can judge it from what I see. What I see, it looks disappointing.
Agree.
Yeah, big agree. Okay. Let's move on. We're going to move into our trailer section, and we're going to start off with a fun one. You haven't seen this show, right?
I saw the first season, and that's as much as I could take. I know, right. We feel different.
It's okay. We are. I forgot. It was actually Scoot that liked it, I think.
Yeah, Scoot liked it.
It was. He's the reason I watched it, and then I remember messaging him about it. So we're talking about Ted Lasso, the official season 3 teaser trailer. They released a new one today, by the way, too, a new trailer for today, but I didn't put that one in here. This comes out March 15th, so it's coming out pretty soon, 2 weeks. The third season, I know you probably won't have a lot to say about it, but general thoughts on the show, real quick.
Yeah, can I explain to you why I don't like it in a way that I think that you'll appreciate? I
think you did the first time, but I completely forget everything that it was a lifetime ago. So yes, please.
Remember Louis C.K.'s joke about, this is not the only time I've like likened something to a Louis C.K., but so I guess that's just a theme here. He does a joke about how in Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon does the, do you like apples? Well, how you like them apples? And the whole point of the joke is like, yeah, of course you look so cool. You wrote the fucking movie. Yeah. That's what bothers me about Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is trying to be like, look how nice and supportive people can be, even in a very toxically masculine environment. And it's like, yeah, you wrote it to be that way. It's not like it's that nice and comforting because that's how you wrote the script. That's why it's like that. I don't know. I feel like it's look, there's a lot of shitty stuff going on in the world, and there's nothing wrong with showing some just nice shit, like wholesome, kind stuff. I'm not like everything needs to be gritty and in the fucking mud. That's not what I'm saying. But the show just comes across as like not genuine to me. Like, I don't know. It's just like, well, I could have gotten mad at my ex, but I just decided if I love her, then you set her free. Isn't that nice? Roll credits. And then the next episode, it's like, oh my God, I don't know. There were parts of it that got me like, sort of got me a little choked up. Like there was some, I don't even remember what, because it's been a couple years since I watched, but I binged the first season in one day just because I'm like, I have to see what everybody's talking about. It's not just you and Scoot. People love this show. And it's just like, I don't even know if corny is the word. It's just not ingenuine is the best thing I could call it. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe you should look at it like it's the Superman of streaming shows that everyone else should aspire to be that good of a person.
Right.
No, I know. I get it. I completely.
You really did trick me. Like you brainwashed me into, I don't know if I said this on the show already, but like I've always been like, Mr. I like the thing that's not the most popular thing. Like I like this side character. And now you're warping me into liking Superman and Batman more than any other superhero ever. And I'm like, I don't know how you did it. Took you a couple years, but here we are. I was talking about Veronica the other night. I'm like, all of a sudden these characters I always thought were mainstream and corny are pretty interesting. I think Chris really has his strings in me.
Well, to be fair, currently, and it has been, I think, for the past 15 years, it's pretty popular to call Superman cheesy and corny. To be able to find any depth in that character
Oh, so we're the hipsters. I get you.
We are.
Right,
You still get to feel the way you want to. I'm doing more work. Batman, on the other hand, I can't help you. Everybody loves Batman.
Yeah.
I sent you that panel. There's a couple like Superman and Batman historically work the best is not what we're talking about, but I'll get back to it, I promise. Superman and Batman historically work best together when there's like a begrudging level of respect, maybe a real undertone of admiration, but they don't usually wear it on their sleeve. And it works really well because they're so different. Their philosophies are so different. Superman literally wants to be out in the daylight, be a shining example to people of how good humanity can be. Batman hides in the dark and frightens criminals to make them cower in fear so that, they won't do what they're going to do. It's a complete tonal opposites, and somehow they work together very harmoniously. And there's a couple, there's always been like World's Finest comic runs, Batman, Superman comics, team up movies. One of them I was going to recommend probably next, where, their respect for each other has a lot of time to shine through. And there's a couple beautiful comics panels where they're talking about each other literally in polar opposites, panel to panel. And, at the end, they both just come to like, I really respect him, and I think it's beautiful. And anyway, not what we were talking about.
You were talking about Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Unfortunately.
Wow. I think I'm not going to ask you to watch a show that you have problems with. I think that season 2 is a much better job of he's talking to a therapist and is having like breakdowns. Spoiler alert for a lot of the season. It's not like the everything's perfect if you're just nice to people feeling that the first season is, but they still weave in that overall message of like, if you're just kind to people, no matter what the circumstances, things will probably work out. And I understand that it's not realistic. But sometimes like to me, it's like watching a Star Wars movie for emotions. Like I know that it's not real, but it makes me feel good and I like it. And I think it's a charming show. I think it's charming and I can't wait for it to come back, and it comes back March 15th. And if you like that show, then you should be excited too.
You should.
That's the end.
I don't want you to not like it. I want you to like it. I hope it's at least a 9 out of 10 for you.
Me too. I really hope it is. Okay, next up. Another thing coming out next month. And in fact, it comes out next week. This is Creed 3. I feel like we've been talking about it a lot lately, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. They released a final trailer. It's the same stuff that we've been talking about the past couple of times. Jonathan Majors looks incredible. This is the first one directed by Michael B. Jordan. Good for him. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. Can't say anything else until it comes out, honestly. There's nothing else to say. I'm going to watch 2. I told you that I'd never watched 2. I was going to start it the other night. If I have time tonight, I might actually try it, but I got to do some podcast mixing, so I don't know.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and I need you to help me out with this. I'm going to watch, I don't think there's any point in talking about it on the show, but I'm going to start watching the Rocky movies.
Okay.
So that I can then watch the Creed movies and not be like a fake fan. I want to be a real fan. I want to be a genuine fan. Here's
the thing. I haven't seen all the Rocky movies. I've only seen like one.
That's what I was going to ask. Do I need to, because there's like 6, isn't there? I don't feel like doing that. I figured like the first 2, right? It's probably good enough.
So I would watch 3 of them.
The first 3. Okay.
No.
I wasn't finished.
Pipe down, young man. You wait your goddamn turn. Hang on. Let me find out one piece of information for this. This introduces a main antag. Oh, was he in the first movie? Oh, he was. Okay. So I would say watch Rocky 1, Rocky 2. Well, Rocky 1, Rocky 3. I would also recommend Rocky Balboa, which is the one where Sylvester Stallone came back. He's old as shit. Mm-hmm. And that one, it's Rocky Balboa.
Wait, there are Rocky movies where he's not in it?
No.
Oh, then I just misunderstood what you just said. Never mind.
Yeah. Unless he, spoiler alert, kicks the bucket. I didn't see him in any of the trailers for the third one, so I don't know what happens in the second one. I would say Rocky 1, Rocky 3, as far as like Rocky 1, the original, you should watch that just to establish the world.
Yeah.
3, I believe, features Apollo Creed, his father, very heavily. So that would be important. Rocky Balboa is the one, it's like the last one that's focused on Stallone, I guess is what I should say, as the main character. When he's done like one last like comeback round. I really liked that movie. I thought it was well done. It's pretty basic, but it's good. And then the Creed films.
I like a good film about perseverance. So we're talking about
it scratches a real specific itch. I'm not a huge boxing fan, but like a lot of boxing movies are about that, like perseverance, and it hits sometimes just right. There's a movie with, who is it? Is it Jake Gyllenhaal? Southpaw is a boxing movie. There's
man, that's been a long time, but I know what you're talking about.
There's The Fighter. Christian Bale.
So good. So incredible.
A fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Sometimes they just hit, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
enough.
just hit. Not unlike a boxer.
Puns fully intended. Okay. This movie comes out March 3rd very soon. I'm going to try and watch 2 somewhat relatively soon, probably the next week or so. I'm not going to go to the theaters to see 3, so I have time. Yeah. Okay. I have time. By the way, certain movie we were talking about watching about a large fellow is up on the Plex.
Oh,
yeah. I thought
that is good information to have.
Okay.
That should be a thing for next week. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, yes, I do. Do you want to do that? Do you want to do that? Please say yes. Yes, I do. And now moving on. Another Apple TV trailer. This is for a series called Extrapolations. I put this on because Derek and I are planet-loving hippies. TM. This is, I just thought this looked neat. The premise is dour and sad, but that's because, guess what? Most real life is too. This series is called Extrapolations. It's a new series coming out March 17th. There's so much shit coming out in the next like 2 months on Apple TV. And this is a drama based in the like near future. It's 8 interwoven stories about love, work, faith, family from across the globe that will explore the intimate life-altering choices that must be made when the planet is changing faster than the population. It's about climate change. It's about what's going to happen in the future when the planet's, like not livable and like people just trying to make it through. Each story is different. It sounds like they all will intertwine at some point, although how closely or to what extent I have no idea. When the fate of humanity is up against a ticking clock, the battle between courage and complacency has never been more urgent. It's got a lot of big names in it,
including
Meryl Streep, Tobey Maguire, Senator Haver. I was going to get to him, but I'm proud of you for that. It was very good. Meryl Streep, Sienna Miller, Kit Harington, Edward Norton, Diane Lane, Matthew Rice, Gemma Chan. Is it Gemma or Gemma? I don't know. Carrie Russell, Marion Cotillard.
Very good.
I don't know if I said that. Forrest Whitaker. I'm still going. Tobey Maguire, Heather Graham, Michael Gandolfini. Like, holy shit. There are so many. Ben Shapiro. I'm just kidding. He's not.
What's he doing there?
He would
Get out of
never
there,
be.
Ben.
Would you take the wrong turn off the highway, buddy? See you around these parts.
The only thing I have to say about this is that there's some severe inconsistencies in the special effects. Like sometimes I'm like, whoa, Sci-Fi Channel in 1999, but then the next shot it's like, this looks really good. This looks very modern. It's got my boy Edward Norton in it. I always like to watch that guy work.
Yeah.
He's just got a very symmetrical face. I could always just look at him talk and act. Big Edward Norton fan.
Really? I wasn't picking that up. No, it looks cool. It looks interesting. I hope it doesn't come off as, here's saying something like, I hope it doesn't come off as preachy feels weird, but there's a fine line to me between teaching the viewing audience the lesson of the movie and beating them over the head,
pummeling them.
To absolute death. And it's a tricky line. And I think that you can, this is the mushy optimistic side of me, but I feel like you can really do some good with a piece of content that has a well-told message that doesn't beat people over the head with it. I think it helps ease people into new concepts that they're not used to thinking about. It can I think help expand people's ways of thinking sometimes if you aren't patronizing about it. So look,
I agree. If you're like holier than thou about it, it pushes people away from the cause.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the point of even doing it to begin with? Like, I don't know. You see like a company like Apple, who is a huge corporation and a big part of why the world is in the state that it's in. It's like there's a certain amount of respect that you have to have in your writing to not, well, what you just said, be up on a high horse to the viewer. And I also hope that they can strike that sweet spot for me.
Right.
Hit me in the sweeties.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. In a complete change of pace, final trailer for John Wick 4. Save the planet or kill everyone in it in a stylish action sequence? That's the real question. We've talked about this before. I forget the last one that you watched.
2. I still have not watched 3, and now they're not on HBO Max anymore. So
Oh no! I bet you they're on
the
I bet you they're on the Plex.
It's a good point.
I bet. I think I've told you this before. I really like 3. 2 was like okay, but it just felt like they were just dragging a corpse. But 3 really felt great. I mean, they have Donnie fucking Yen in this movie.
I know.
They have
he flips a guy into a car. He does like a judo flip and into a moving car. That was the highlight of this trailer. Sorry to cut you off. I just couldn't hold it in.
You're okay.
It was very exciting to me.
What's his name? Bill Skarsgård. Of course, the return of Lawrence Fishburne, Lance Reddick, all these excellent character actors. And I mean, some of the sword gun fu play looks a little silly, but like it also looks in that, but I could still be okay with it because it's so sick. Yeah. Kind of silly. You know what I mean?
It's just cool. These are all made by like a stunt coordinator, right? Or something like that.
I know that the first one was for sure. He actually was the guy who did Deadpool, I believe. Yeah. I could be completely wrong. I think
it's just something cool about giving like a guy with that very specific job, like the reins for an entire movie. And I think that's what's so cool about them is that they're not, they take place in a world that's cool enough, but it's not like you're not there for the story. You're there for just the crazy action scenes. And some of the shit that they have set up in this trailer just looks so cool. Like there's some part they're going through some weird, I don't know what it is. It's like a studio with these weird LED lights and shit. Dude, it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
But I do have to watch 3 before I dip my nuts into this one.
Chad Stahelski. Yeah.
And he did Nobody as well, right? I believe. Maybe it was the producers of John Wick that did Nobody.
It might have been the producers.
Nobody.
I'm looking at his movie credits right now. He did stunts on Deadpool 2, Red, and Red 2. Red was a great movie.
Never saw
2
it.
was
I always
not
thought it was
great.
good.
Red was a great. It was based off a graphic novel, so it's great. Okay. Also comes out in March 24th. Again, holy shit. Too much stuff. Which is March 24th is right around the time that Jedi Survivor drops.
Maybe.
Can't wait. Next trailer. This is an unexpected one. We're both video game aficionados on this channel.
You could say.
This is for a movie based around the development of Tetris, starring Taron Egerton, who was in, the thing with the guys, and they shot it was on film, and they started in one place, they ended in another. Kingsman. Yeah, he was in the Kingsman 1 and 2 films. He was also in the, holy shit, Elton John. Thank you, Rocket Man. I think. Yeah. I burning up as the it was a great movie. Anyway, Tetris. This trailer is crazy because I didn't know a single thing. Obviously, it came out before I was born about the development of the game. So to hear the apparently very true, ridiculous story about the craziness surrounding this game being created, I think this looks cool. I can't wait to see this movie.
I think so too. I hope that the movie does a better job at balancing the tone than the trailer did. Like it seemed like there was just these vast back and forth between like
tonal
very
shifts.
Serious, very goofy, and it was like, whoa, like what kind of movie am I watching?
I gotta be honest. You know what it felt like in a couple sections. I was like, this feels like the Weird Al movie.
Right. I never watched that. I still haven't seen that. You watched it, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I'm falling behind here.
I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
You were too busy
But I
playing
agree, though, it
Octopath
is-
Traveler for the 30th time.
I did think that.
Got burn. Got him. We got him, boys.
I thought that I had no idea that there was some international USSR conflict involving the creation of Tetris. So no, it's an interesting subject. Again, the tone seemed a little weird. The guy whose name you just said that I already forget is a great actor. So yeah, no, I'm on board.
Taron Egerton. He's pretty good. Pretty good.
Edgerton.
Streaming. Say it with me, boys. March 31st. Like, so much shit's coming out. Holy cow. This is an interesting one. We watched a show quite a while ago at this point. Reviewed it on the podcast. This is how you know we're getting up there in those episodes. We're referencing original seasons of shows called Shadow and Bone. If I remember correctly, I think Scott was still on the podcast. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I think you and this is the part. I think you and I liked this show quite a bit, and I think he wasn't super stoked on it by the end of things.
Yeah,
maybe could be wrong. That's the remembering. I'm not going to go back.
I think we all liked it, but I think that I think you're right. Like, he was not as on board as either of us. I was just like the novelty of it surprised me. Like, I just thought that I wasn't going to like it, but then I did. Like, that was, I don't know. That was kind of the Kansas City shuffle it pulled on me.
The Kansas. Yeah. Okay. So now we're into season 2 of the show. I think we made jokes in the first season. What is the guy's name that plays the bad guy? What is the actor's name? It's right. He was in Punisher. Hang on. Shadow and Bones.
Look that shit up.
Shadow and Bones actors.
Actors.
His name, Ben Barnes. Would not have guessed that, but I know his face.
Never.
I remember in the first one it being like he was the only. Grayson's going to be coming back up in a second to get his popcorn.
There he is. Right on cue.
Oh, okay. Crazy kid. All right. I love you. Bye.
Adorable.
2 hugs. Love you. Good night. I remember him being the only. Sorry, let me get my dad hat off. I remember Ben Barnes playing the only like shadow caster. And it was like, oh, these people, if I remember correctly, it was like they would have like these people could do lightning and these people could do blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And he was the only one that could do shadow. And no one thought, hey, man, that's probably the bad guy.
Yeah.
Until like the end. And everybody was like, oh, my goodness, the shadow caster's evil. And I remember thinking like, no, duh. But I remember really thinking the world that it introduced us to was interesting.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, now that he's out, he came out as evil. Now he's loud and proud as being the bad guy. I thought this trailer looked really cool, and I'm excited to go back to this world now that the no shit joke has been completed, and I want them to actually like show me something that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
I was reading the synopsis here. His name is General Kerrigan. To stand a fighting chance against General Kerrigan and his seemingly indestructible new army, which was the Shadow people, which they looked really cool. The effects for a Netflix show were pretty good, remember?
Yeah.
Alina and Mal rally their own powerful new allies and begin a continent-spanning journey to find 2 mythical creatures that will amplify powers. Back in Ketterdam, a chance at a deadly heist sends the Crows once again on collision course with the legendary Sun Summoner. That sounds cool. Now, the lore of this is like a beloved book series that I've never read, but the lore of this world is very intriguing to me. And I just thought this looks cool. And guess what?
Comes out in March.
Once again, comes out in March. You're really catching on here. I didn't do this on purpose. I did not pick things that were coming out in March. There's just so much. This is not the Ides. Yeah, you know where I was going. I didn't have to finish it. There's just so much stuff coming out so soon. We're getting final trailers for everything. So this March 16th, season 2 premieres, and I hope they drop the whole thing.
That's very soon.
So I can binge
not
watch
this
it.
split season shit that Netflix has been doing. Oh my God. I was just going to say I have to rewatch the first season because I remember the broadest strokes of what happens, but not like, but I remember covering season 1 and thinking some of it in the trailer looked a little corny, and then there was corny stuff in it, but like overall the good things really outweighed the bad. And ultimately I remember talking about it on the show and saying that the season finale, I remember saying like, that's how you do a season finale. It was just really like, it just popped. It was very exciting and very cathartic. Whereas a lot of season finales nowadays, for some reason, do this fizzle out thing. No, I'm excited for it. I remember nothing of like that. You started listing off the magic users. The only one I remember is that there's one that can control people's heart rates, because I know there's one person who goes around just like stopping people's hearts. And then there's a fella, and if you pull it up, I forget all their names, 100% of their names I forget, except General Kerrigan, because you just said it 45 seconds ago. Yeah. 1 minute 37 seconds. There's the gunslinger guy. He was always my favorite. Mal, one of those. And he just does this thing where he flips his gun out and fans the hammer. It looks so cool. I remember there was some sort of implication towards the end of season 1 that he was a magic user, but they never said, yay or nay on that. This trailer looks cool. It has the same thing. I'm like, there's some stuff I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about the band marching outfit that she's wearing in the one scene.
Wait, I'm going to FTCN myself. It's not Mal. I lied.
Oh, you lied. Well, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that ever again.
I forget that guy's name. But continue.
I'm going to be honest. I forget that guy's name.
I'm going to look it up. Shadow and Bones characters.
Yeah, no, it looks great. Go ahead.
When I say it, you're going to be like, oh, that's right. Jesper.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I got to rewatch season 1. I think it was only like 8 episodes, so that's not a huge undertaking.
You really do have that like tick that we were talking about offline. Like you feel like you have to go back, and I remember I'm cool with just looking up like a YouTube recap video of season 1. I'm set. You're like, no, I gotta go rewatch it.
I do. I'm like diagnosed. This is not a joke. I'm diagnosed OCD. Like I have like a weird. I have like an obsessive need for completion. I like to complete. Just so another fact.
So well together.
Yeah.
Always completing around me. On me. Sorry. In me. Oh my God. I can't stop talking. So sorry. Okay. We are done the trailers. We are now going to talk about our main topic. I don't know why I'm doing that. We're going to talk about our main topics. That joke's not funny. Okay. So this week I said we have, I think we should start with Flashpoint because it's not relevant to current day media. You just wanted to rewatch it. I also have to ask you if you got into the comics on Comixology. I know I showed you how, but I don't know if you did.
You showed me how to do that? Did I just
I showed you the app. We get it for free with Amazon Prime. Comixology.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
no, so I didn't start it. No, I
didn't.
I totally erased that from my memory for some reason.
That's okay. Yeah, no big deal. Fuck
I do want to read it now.
Why do I even talk? No big deal.
All right, I'm going to go first. Flashpoint Paradox. We rewatched it, and it's incredible. We already covered it on the show, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But I will say this. I remember my first time around, I had said something to the effect of, I was off put by the animation style.
Yeah.
And I remember even then saying it was so minimal, it was like hardly even worth mentioning. Whatever little it bothered me then was totally eliminated this time. Like, I'm like, what was I even complaining about? I feel like I was fishing for something to complain about it. I thought that the animation was very good. They do look like upside down uppercase A's. That's how they all look, but that's okay. That's just, no, it's I don't know what to say. It's really sad. I feel like it's, I guess somewhat what the new Flash movie is being based on, like a very soft, like, I don't think we're going to see like Thomas Wayne or Wonder Woman and Aquaman at war or anything like that. But just the concept of I want to change this one thing about my life and it upturns the entire fucking planet. And it's a great diagram for that setup. I don't know. It was fucking awesome. I loved it. And it, like I said, I don't even know if we said it on pod, but after watching it, I was like, when I hit play on it, I'm like, I watched this before. I'm just gonna skim it, and I ended up watching the whole thing. Like I just was engrossed by it. And I think off pod we decided, like, for however long until we get bored of it, we were going to weekly pick a DC animated movie and talk about that on the show. Because I just have been talking about watching these movies forever and not actually doing it. And this is the perfect thing to motivate me to actually do it. So let's fucking do it, brother.
Yeah, I already have the one for next week. It's Batman, Superman, Public Enemies. It's on HBO Max. I'll put it in the doc. I already put it in the doc because I can't help myself. Yeah, I've rewatched it too because I knew you were going to do it. It's been a little while. I think Flashpoint Paradox is one of my favorite comic book stories, just in general. I think it's fantastic. I think it's tragic in so many different ways. And I always loved, and it's another reason I really liked the Batman graphic novels, Batman Earth One, and I think I've recommended those to you as well. And it's because I really love the, like, this is what you know of this character. Now, let me just rework it a little bit, but it's still going to be the character that you know. Maybe they'll take a different path to get to the person they're supposed to be. And they just jumble around enough of the ingredients in the world to make things feel fresh. That's what Earth 1 does. Flashpoint does it in a different way, where things like Batman, there's still a Batman, right? And again, I'm not going to harp on this, but this one is Thomas Wayne, because instead of him and Martha being shot, Bruce was shot. Martha went crazy. And he's an old grizzled Batman that kills people because he doesn't give a shit. He's just like a hurt parent. And honestly, yeah, I can kind of get that,
he's
my guy.
So good, dude. Yeah, he's so fucking incredible.
It's a really good movie. And I remember harping on it when we talked about the Flash trailer. I remember just incessantly rambling about how, like, you know, DC's about gods and the stories are always about humanizing them, and how, you know, this Flashpoint's really a story about the fastest man alive. He can literally run through time, but he can't fix the one thing in his life that he wants, like, so much to fix, which is to save his mother, because that's kind of like this pin in time. It's like an essential ingredient for him becoming the Flash, and he has to accept that in order to fix everything. And it's just a really great storytelling vehicle to get him from moment to moment to drive the plot forward. And I think it's why the movie works so well. And yeah, I rewatched it too. I think it's fantastic. And I can't wait for the movie to come out. I know, again, I know that it's not fully based on this. Like you said, there's going to be a lot of stuff they have to leave out for obvious reasons. But the crux of the Flash wants to save his mom. And again, if you want to go listen to that Flash trailer conversation that was last episode. But I mean, the trailer opens with him running back in time for what looks like the first time, because he stops in front of his childhood house and he looks at it as if he's like, can't believe he's there. And his eyes are teary. You can tell, like, he knows he's about to go see his mom, and it's heartbreaking. And I fucking love it. And I can't wait to see that story told in real life. I would never ask somebody to watch an entire season of TV for a 40-minute scene, but I've, like, the first season of Flash, the television show that became a running joke because of how goofy it is now. The ending of season 1 is just, like, through the roof phenomenal. And it's because of that moment. It centers around that moment when he realizes that he can't save his mom, and he has, like, this last little moment with her. Kevin Smith famously sobbed his eyes out on camera. That was, like, the first big, like, Kevin's crying. We get it. I've
heard it's so good. I've heard season 1 of The Flash is good, but I will not watch it.
That's understandable. Okay, that's it.
I just wanted to touch on the part where Bruce reads the letter from his dad and he starts crying is so fucking good, dude. Oh my God, incredible.
I feel it in my heart. I love it.
I like that expression of pain.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Right.
It stops the tears from flowing. Look, I'm just misty-eyed now.
Right.
Anyway.
Nailed it.
My next recommendation is Batman, Superman, Public Enemies. I think it's a good movie. It's more of we've been talking about Batman and Superman together, and you get some of that in this animated film. And I think it's fun.
Let's do it.
Some cool stuff. Okay, we watched Strange World, which is a Disney Plus movie. Is it Pixar? Was Pixar did this? Pixar did this, right? Strange World.
Thought it was just Disney, but I'm not.
It
sure.
might just be Disney, which is so weird because like Disney owns Pixar.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Like, you made this. I made this.
Yeah.
What's what? Who cares? Who cares who made it? We're talking about it. It centers around family problems, father problems. You know what I thought when we first turned this movie on? I thought spoiler alert, Jake Gyllenhaal voices the son, Searcher Clade. Dennis Quaid, is a tongue twister, voices Jaeger Clade. Dennis Quaid for Jaeger Clade. And I thought that it was a different actor. I could have sworn up and down that Jake Gyllenhaal was not the voice of Searcher Clade. You know, when you hear somebody, you're like, oh, I know who this is.
I did the same thing. I couldn't pinpoint it, but like I was not expecting Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, it really got, and now I'm struggling to think of who I thought it was, and I don't feel like hunting it down. But it follows this family of adventurers. Jaeger, who's this big adventurer. I had the song at the beginning of the movie stuck in my head for like 2 days. Jaeger Clade. It follows him and his son and his
Quaid.
Jaeger Clade, he's the maid, Jaeger Clade, blah blah blah. They're a family of explorers. The dad's really like, I want to go see what's over the mountains. It's like his life goal. He wants to do it with his son. And basically the whole movie is a story about like projecting what you want onto your kids and how that's not always the best. In fact, you shouldn't do that even maybe a little bit. Maybe you should just nurture them and lean into what they want to do. And so, you know, the dad, I thought it was Paul Rudd, I think. I think he sounded like Paul Rudd to me. Maybe I'm being an asshole. I could have swore it sounded like Paul Rudd. That's exactly who I thought it sounded like. I can still hear it in my head. That's how much I thought it sounded like him. Not him. I'm on a tangent. The fucking C4 got me. We flash forward. His dad goes missing. He's got his own son, an awesome wife. And, you know, something happens to the power source they have, and they go on a big adventure. First and foremost, did you expect where this movie ended up with, like, the big turtle?
No, not even remotely.
I was like, what?
I'm not sure anyone did.
I was like, huh? I thought this was going to be like Journey to the Center of the Earth shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that. Anyway, look, I'm rambling. I thought this movie was charming. Originally, I remember thinking, I don't know that I care too much about these characters. And the minute I realized the like dad message, I was hooked, you know, for selfish reasons, because I'm a parent. And I just really loved watching it unfold. The turtle shit, I was like, well, that's original, at least. It startled me. And that's it. I don't know. I thought it was charming. I liked it a lot. This movie flew under the radar and apparently did not do too well.
No, not at all.
Financially. In fact, Bob Iger, the returned CEO, cited this as like a reason they're going to double down on franchises, which is kind of disappointing for me.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Strange World?
I thought it was okay. Like I don't think I liked it as much as you did. I didn't think it was terrible. Like I didn't watch it and go like, oh, that's why it did so poorly. But it just didn't hit for me. Like I feel like it was about generational divides and it didn't address them as much as it thinks it did. It was just sort of like, now I see your point all of a sudden. And then like the bridge is gapped. I don't think it was done in like, I'm not saying the movie has to make a point about that, but when you bring the point up, follow through, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't have a point, but it just didn't, I don't know. It just wasn't really an effective way of communicating to me. Here's the one thing that I have to say about this movie. It was animated so unbelievably well. This was like crazy beautiful movie to watch. And I think like we've talked about like Marvel, like live action special effects and how they've been stagnating for a while now. Yeah. And I think that video game graphics really have too. Like we've reached a certain point with fidelity that it's just sort of like how much further can you really go? And so like in those two areas, like we haven't necessarily like hit a peak, but we're like having diminishing returns, I guess.
Definitely.
Whereas with like sort of, I guess, cartoon animation or computer cartoon animation, whatever you call it, Disney Pixar style, that is just like every year, like leaps and bounds is just going further and further. And I feel like it would be rude to the animators to not mention just how beautiful this movie was animated. Yeah. But the story, like the characters, none of them really had any kind of charm to me. Like nothing that was really all that long lasting anyway.
Clade.
Yeah, Jaeger Clade was probably the most likable of the bunch, but overall, not a whole lot of staying power with me. I don't think it was terrible, but mid. I would say mid FRFR TBH fan.
For the older generation, that's for real, right. To be honest. Yeah, okay, I can see where you're coming from. I agree. I think the themes were, I think I'm biased towards anything parent-child right now as I near the birth of my second son.
Right.
So
you say that with such like a grandiose, it's almost biblical whenever, as I near the birth of my second son, TM.
Yes, forthwith.
It's like a hallowed reverence you're saying it with. I love it.
Well, I'm excited. Okay.
I'm excited for you. Oh, I wasn't trying to damper your excitement.
Okay. No, I know. All right, moving on. Let's do Last of Us, right? And then we'll end on Hogwarts.
Sure.
That way, if you were
for
mad
people
that we're
who just
talking
can't
about
bear to just know to stop after the Last of Us.
After we finish Last of Us, you could just turn it off, okay? Pretend we never did it. How's that? We won't tell our dirty little secret, All American Rejects. I really felt like I was Dr. Evil in that scene where he makes it. No, not Dr. Evil. Shit. The gold guy. What's his name?
Gold member?
Was it? Yeah, it was gold member.
Yeah.
The gold guy. Where he said a phrase and then immediately like said the name of the reference. It's like Walter Matthau. You know what I mean? Like KC and the Sunshine Band. That kind of shit. Yeah, that's what I just did. I'm sorry. I gotta drink C4 more often when we record. Okay. The Last of Us episodes 6 and 7. So these 2 episodes, I can actually tell you, I was afraid I would forget the compact nature, but it's easy. 6, they show up in Jackson. That's when they show up in Jackson. Mm-hmm. We get a nice intro to the town. We find Tommy. It's a great moment between Joel and, holy shit, Pedro, you're a honey. I love you for that acting job.
Yeah.
We have, there's a little bit of drama there. I'm giving super brief synopsis and thoughts. He gives, basically begs Tommy to take her. He's doubting himself. He's starting to have panic attacks. Really cool little segment with an older couple living out in the middle of nowhere. I loved both. The wife was hysterical. Yeah. We got a lot of stuff from the game kind of out of order in these last 2 episodes, and I think the show is much better for it. They send them off to Colorado to try and find the Fireflies. They find it abandoned. That happens in the game. Mm-hmm. And then Joel gets stabbed, and the episode ends with you not knowing if he's going to live or die, which is exactly what happens in the video game. Although here, they don't make you wonder if he's dead or not for a fucking hour. Holy shit, that hour in the game was the worst when they don't tell you what's going on. They just Ellie all of a sudden. And then they very, in my opinion, again, smartly weave in what is originally DLC that released months after the original game into this chapter of the story to give you a backstory on Ellie in this downtime while Joel is out of commission. And you get to see her origins in Fedra get fleshed out, her relationship with her friend Riley, who's been referenced several times throughout the season so far. You get some interesting background to a lot of her side conversations with Joel as far as video games, references, comic books. All this stuff has kind of come full circle to ultimately another sad ending. And I have to make, before I give thoughts, I have to make one silly confession. I thought the show was 8 episodes. It's 9.
Yeah.
And because I thought it was 8, when this episode ended, I went, wow, because I thought we were going to get a little bit further along.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I thought that the penultimate episode would be this flashback, and then I thought Joel would be better by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And then it would go right into like the ending sequence. Whereas this is not the penultimate. Next week is. So this was the flashback. Penultimate, it looks like, is going to be more about Ellie's time kind of coming into her own like she does in the game. Like it looks like she's going to have to do some shit on her own for a little bit while Joel heals, We get an awesome look at Troy Baker, who's going to be in the series. I don't know if you
So
saw the
cool.
sneak peek.
Yeah.
If you guys
I knew he
don't-
was in it, but I thought he was just an extra. I didn't know he was playing David. It's so fucking cool.
and
Dude.
so if you guys don't know, Troy Baker voiced Joel himself in the game. It's really cool. They brought back a lot of voice actors from the game to do it. Marlene voiced or acted for herself in this game. Then we have the guy who voiced Tommy was one of the soldiers in Kansas City. And now we have Troy Baker himself, very famous voice actor, coming to play a cool role here towards the end.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be her time to shine, kind of get up to speed on her own, have to deal with some actual shit on her own, and then it's going to be the finale. So the pacing, because I thought it was 8 episodes, is actually way better with 9 episodes than I was worried it was going to feel crunched here at the end.
Yeah.
And instead now it feels like someone just like, oh wait, never mind, your essay's not due till next weekend, and you were like, oh my god, I can breathe again. I continue to love almost everything about this show. I would struggle to find issues I had with it. I'm just gonna let Derek take the floor on these episodes. I know I kind of gave a synopsis. Anything that stood out to you that you really like?
Yeah, I'll say this about 6. Well, I thought 6 was a great episode. I see a lot of people complaining about the deviations from the game, and again, it's just something I don't understand. Like, it's just it's close enough that it makes it more novel, and it's not like it's deviating completely from I just don't understand that argument. I will say, like, people who've been talking about how it feels rushed throughout, I have been totally against that this entire time. Now, the ending of episode 6, where they just get to Colorado and it all just happens so quick, I was like, that did feel a little rushed. I'll give. I don't think it was anything that like ruins the show, but it was the first time in the show that I went like, whoa, they took that whole segment and squeezed it into like a 3-minute little thing at the end of the episode. That felt a little weird. Nothing that breaks the great pace and great writing that the show is set, but I did like make a mental note of that. Episode 7 is, in my opinion, the worst episode of the series so far, and it's still a really incredible episode. I'm always really uncomfortable with like kid romance, like especially in live action. When it's a video game, you know that these are models, but like when you're watching a romance unfold and it's 2 kids, it just makes me feel weird watching that. It's not like they went too heavy on it, right? Like they just had a little kiss or whatever. It wasn't anything, but still, of course, that part of Ellie's story is important. She's a lesbian, and that's, in the DLC, that's when we find out. So I understand why you couldn't just skip that part. That would be kind of fucked up to skip that part. Yeah. I get why it's there. I just thought that it was kind of boring isn't the word that I wanted to use, but it was really slow. And I actually didn't like this DLC when I played it either. What the interesting thing is, when I did play it, I thought, well, this would work better as a show or movie, because that's what it felt like. Just essentially you're like hitting play on your controller and then you're watching a movie. And so I was looking forward to this episode, and then I was a little let down by it, to be honest. That being said, I can't think of her name. The actress,
Storm Reed,
for Ellie. What is her name? Bella
Ramsey.
Oh, I thought that was her name, her character's name in Game of Thrones. I'm an asshole. Her acting in this was incredible. Well, both of them were, but I think that she really brought it out for this. I think it's been the best acting she's done in the show so far. So that is worth mentioning. A part of me is worried about pacing for the last 2 episodes, because you have the whole David thing in episode 8, presumably, and then the Firefly headquarters in episode 9. However, I think that so far they've done such a good job at taking the sort of chapters of the game and condensing them into like a more episodic format that I'm not like worried. It's just, I think I had the same thing you thought. I knew that there were 2 more, but I still think I had like the sort of runway concern that you had. And I think despite I never thought there was only 1 left. I just kind of, I still sort of, some of that lingering doubt is in there, but haven't let me down yet. Still a really good, like I said, I think it's my least favorite of the whole show. Episode 7, that is, and it's still an immensely good episode, so it just speaks to the quality of the show as a whole.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you, and so I understand the narrative device. I was thinking about this a lot last night. I understand the narrative device of a flashback in this spot of a story arc, but I kind of hate them because it feels like they kill a lot of momentum in the story. And I understand that like Joel's out of commission and not a lot's going on, but you know, she walks up the stairs, grabs a door handle, and then we have a 40-minute flashback. So it you know, if anything, I would rather it in the game. If I'm not mistaken, she's scouring a nearby mall for medical supplies to heal him. And that's when she, in my mind, should have these flashbacks of like, you know, because then we're seeing her do something real world and you intercut more of them. But look, I don't make TVs and movies. I thought it was a good episode. I actually 100% can be on board with that. I think it was a great episode. I do think it was one of the weaker ones so far. I also think Bella did a crushingly good job in this episode. Like, I remember early on in the season, and I think I was like, look, I just don't like her face. Last night we're watching it, and Sam goes, she's doing a great job, but I don't like the way she looks. And I was like, oh, that's so judgmental. And Derek and I said the same thing. Listen, Bella, if you ever listen to this, I'm very sorry. I'm not attacking you as a person. I think you're a tremendous human being.
Yeah, I will never be as talented as you are in
absolutely
all of
not.
my life.
I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I'm not saying I'm the best looking dude on the world, but like,
yeah, but he's better looking than you know.
Rude. Objectively, to some people, true. To others, maybe not. Anyway, there are a couple major game variations here. One of which is the town of Jackson itself. That they don't go to Jackson in the first game. They show it on the horizon at the end of the first game. That's where they decide to like go settle after he leaves the hospital. Jackson is not introduced until the sequel when it really fleshes out the town. I thought it was a baller, excellent storytelling, delicious move to put it where they did because they're establishing.
Right. In the first game, they go to like the dam or something, right?
Yep.
And
they
that's
don't
where all
touch
that shit
Jackson at all.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't touch like Jackson's like the final shot of the game. Like he's taking her away. He's like, where are we going to go now? And then I think they had like heard of it or something, and they decided to go back and like they show the town lit up at night. And then that's where we are in the second game. So introducing it here, I think is wonderful for storytelling reasons, because now if they follow the same path, they've already introduced the town they're going to end up in at the end of the game. They even made allusions when they were leaving that they're going to come back here. Like there's a place for you here.
There was a Dina cameo. At least people suspect it was Dina.
Yeah. And Tommy said like there's a spot for you here, and you know they really kind of laid the groundwork in a cinematic way that I think works really well in TV as opposed to maybe a video game. Okay, to just go over a hill, see a town, and that's the end. Sure, but if you want to watch them get settled at the end, kind of see the happy ending for yourself, or well, depending on your definition of happy ending with this game.
Yeah.
The whole DLC. So I think it was smart to include the DLC in the season as fleshing out the character. Something about the killing of momentum, the way it's handled, I think it adds to that, like, not really the greatest episode of the series. Still a good episode. Not the best one ever. Storm Reed is the name of the actor who plays her friend Riley, and eventual love interest. They do a lot of that mole stuff, like beat for beat. I think some of the sequences are out of order. Like I think they start in the mask shop and some weird thing like that. For the most part, though, we're going beat for beat.
Oh, the merry-go-round. There was a song playing like in like music box fashion, and it was like a song, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Oh,
do you know what it was?
No, not off the top of my head.
You're useless to me. You're no good.
And the last thing I'll say before we sign off here is, and again, I know Derek and I are always harping about this as a parent thing, but listen, when Ellie and Riley both realize they've been bit and they're like freaking out and panicking, I got really upset because I was just like, they're kids. They're like 15, 16 years old. And now they think they've just been given a death sentence. And like Riley is super like factual about it. We only have two options, and Ellie does not accept it whatsoever. And it's really heartbreaking. The whole scene is really hard to watch. Just like, you know, you as a parent, like putting yourself in you're like, oh my God, they're babies, and they're dealing with their own mortality, and like
Riley says a line that was really deep cutting. She says, "Everybody gets here eventually. Some of us just get there a little quicker." I was like, oh, that was rough.
Sure, at my age right now, like if someone were to go, "You're dying," I'd go, "That sucks," but like I've done a lot. Like the saddest I would be is that I wouldn't be here for my kids.
Yeah,
but I've done enough. What is there to life? I got drunk at enough bars. I had I made good friends.
Right.
I had a good time. You know, thanks a lot. I'm good. But like to see kids that young who haven't experienced so much of life, and like, it was really tough to watch. I don't want to keep harping on. I'm saying the same thing in different ways. Yeah, and Riley is very mature about it, whereas Ellie is just smashing shit. And there's like two kinds of people. There's people who are, you know, like, well, I can't change it. This is what it is. And, you know, then there's Ellie. And it was very hard to watch. I was just like, I can't even.
I'm glad they kept that original line. Let's go out all poetic and shit, or whatever she says. I'm paraphrasing, but I think that was in the game. At least it sounded familiar enough that I thought it was anyway. The song was Just Like Heaven by The Cure, by the way. I just looked it up. I knew I recognized it. I knew it.
Very good.
Yeah, good episode. Solid ep.
Solid ep. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We're done. We're out of here. We're leaving. We actually kept to a 90-minute time frame.
Well, we didn't talk about Hogwarts yet.
Oh, you're right. We're not done yet. I lied.
We can save it for next week if you want.
No, I don't. I mean, I got the time.
Let's do it, baby. I'm ready.
You know what? You know what the problem is? I didn't rearrange the topics when I said let's do Hogwarts last. So my brain shot down to the list. I saw Last of Us, and I went, "Oh, we're done." That was right. Even though I just said it, I'm an old piece of shit. Hogwarts Legacy is a game.
It is. That much is true.
Listen, just out on Front Street, my old adage. It is tough to talk about this game without acknowledging the transphobic piece of shit in the room. J.K. Rowling, she invented this world. It came from her mind, but she's not a great person, and I'm not making excuses. But it is worth pointing out. And again, I'm imagining most people who are mad at us for buying this have already left. So it's worth pointing out that anything, and I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but anything you buy in this world contributes to a shitty cause in most cases. You buy a cell phone, right? Those precious minerals get mined by poor people. You buy nice shoes. They're made by little kids in a sweatshop. Like, I'm not saying that is acceptable. I'm saying that everything in life has consequences.
All money is dirty money.
All money is dirty money. Again, not saying one thing is better or less worse than the other. I'm saying that it's very easy in today's age to pinpoint on one thing that you can rally behind and say it's bad. So listen, I agree with you. J.K. Rowling uses her money for bad things. It helps amplify her voice. She's a person people listen to because of the things she's done, right or wrong. And I think giving her more money to do that is bad. However, J.K. Rowling is far, far and away, even if this game never existed, never going to run out of money.
No.
I'm not, again, not saying it makes it okay. I'm just saying maybe pick your battles a little bit. She's good to boycott. She's an asshole. This developer apparently had no ties to her. She did nothing for the game. There's hundreds of hardworking people that put time and effort into this game. Look, whatever. Make up your own mind. If you're here, we're not changing your thought process. Yeah, you've already made up your mind. Anyway, we bought it. We both bought it. And guess what? I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great game. I have so many positive things to say about it and like two gripes. One is the inventory system. It's god awful.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah. Menu system in general. Very sluggish.
Yeah. The second one I can't even recall because I just remembered how amazing it was to fly on a hippogriff for the first time. Yeah. And it's things like that. Look, if you're a Harry Potter fan, and unabashedly I am. I grew up with him and that world. I was literally the same age as Harry when the first book came out.
Yeah.
I feel like I grew up with him, and it helps that the books and movies got more mature as they got older. They dealt with more heavy themes, and life and death became more prominent. So I really felt I loved them. Those books reinvigorated my love for reading when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And just like a game about Harry Potter lends itself intrinsically, I think, to being a video game because magic. So like you need to conjure up a fucking item that, you know what I mean? Like it helps write the video game rules.
Mm-hmm.
Fast travel, there's the Flu Network. Like, you know, like they one-to-one, they match up so really well. And what I would say is that so far the game does a great job of capturing the fantasy of that universe very well. If you grew up with that, if you are a fan of that, it's so it oozes charm out of every corner. It's been a couple weeks now since it came out. I remember telling Derek, you know, there's like a little intro quest, there's a little intro cinematic, and then they kind of unleash you in the castle. And as soon as they did, I immediately got lost, just wandering around, interacting with paintings and
doing the little puzzles to like doing little trapdoors to get pieces of gear and shit.
Going on the moving staircase that I've seen in the movies, you know, all these incredible things. And it really was just, I mean, I hate to do it.
Oh boy.
Gonna be this guy.
Oh no.
You can stop me if you want to.
I'll just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off.
It's magical. How you feeling about it? So again, I'm not done the game yet. So far, the story is fun and interesting to me. I'm working towards my third trial. I think I'm almost there, roughly, without giving anything else away, because you know what the trials are. How are your thoughts, feelings?
Here's what I think. First of all, I really deeply regret not getting it on PC. It really does suffer on PS5 pretty significantly. Like anytime you're fighting like more than one person, there is like a severe FPS drop. When you cast certain spells, like it's not just in general, but it's like, of course, your most powerful spells like Incendio, which like creates a ball of fire around you. And I guess the particle effects, just like the PS5 just can't handle it. It's enough that it's like put me off from playing the game as much as I was.
Really?
It's pretty significant. And from what I understand, PC there's a couple stutters here and there, but overall it runs very well on PC. So I made a big boo-boo there. That being said, if they ever patch all that stuff out or something, I'd be happy to play it more often. I haven't dropped it entirely, but I've kind of lost interest just on account of that. But here's the positives. What they've made is an unimaginably vast and beautiful fucking world that is just so fun to just walk around in. You can just, it has that Skyrim thing where it's like, you could just pick a direction and walk in it. You will find some Merlin trial to do or some side quests to help this. And the side quests feel real. They're not like, just bring my books to this person. Like you're really doing shit. Like, retrieve my father's helmet from this cave because the goblin stole it. And then there's always some way that it kind of ties into the main story. Like even if it's superficially, it's just enough that it feels like, even with the side stuff, you're kind of making progress in the core story. There's really fun characters in it. The whimsical just aesthetic of it is so well done. Like you said, like the seamlessness of like jumping on a hippogriff or on your broom and flying around just feels so good. Like, you know, like arcing around the castle while the sun is setting is just like breathtaking. It's just beautiful. It's unbelievable how much detail they put into what it looks like and just how much shit is just filled in to the world. There's little towns on the outskirts that have people in it. There's Hogsmeade from the books. I will say this though, I don't think the story is very interesting. I don't think it's bad per se, but I think that the story only serves as sort of a vessel to send you out into the beautiful world, which I'm not mad about. Like, it's just sort of like your next quest is like, okay, go to this corner of the forest that you haven't been to yet to find this new mechanic that you haven't been introduced yet. And it's like, I'm okay with that, but I more than okay with it. I think it's great, but I just don't think that like what's going on with the story. And again, I've hung back, so maybe it gets better. Maybe it's like, I just didn't get to the hook yet or something, but nothing in it has really been like, wow, this is telling a very interesting tale. But I'm happy to just like find an excuse for them to say, hey, go here this time and do this. And then whatever you find there, you know, now you have forever. That's the other thing I love about the side quests. the little
Yeah.
things you do for your teachers is you're not just getting like, oh, here's 50 gold pieces. You're getting like spells that you can use for the rest of the game. Some of them are, actual like combat spells. Some of them are utility spell. I mean, it's really, really fucking well done. And that's it. I refuse. I already gave this company my money once. I will not. Veronica was like, it's tax season. Just get it on PC. I'm like, I will not do that. I will not do that.
What a honey you are, Ron.
And she really is the best. But I'm not going to do it. I won't.
But she's been killing that game. I've seen her playing.
She's like hella. She is so into that game. Well,
it's very fun.
It's people draw comparisons to The Witcher to it, as far as the like world full of shit to go do. And she loved The Witcher, so that's kind of why she dove into it. But she really is tearing through it.
Yeah.
But if I'll be overjoyed if they fix the issues on PS5. I haven't even really heard too many other people talking about how bad it is on PS5. So I don't know if it's like I just need to update my firmware. So like I don't know what it is, but it is really running like shit. Like it's very noticeable. I mean, I'm talking like dropping to less than like 15 frames per second when I cast certain spells, like every time I cast them.
Do you have it on performance mode or quality?
I have it on performance. Always. Always
feels weird.
Yeah.
Feels weird. TM. I actually kept reading that PS5 was the ideal platform to play it on because it had stable performance. And now that I rebuilt my new rig, it's not really an issue anymore.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. Now, I see where you're coming from with the story, and it is there as a vessel to progress a video game story. I just happen to think like the ancient magic hook, that's interesting enough to me. You know what it is? It almost feels like a Harry Potter book MacGuffin to me, and that's why I'm interested. They do. I don't want to spoil anything. They do some things with it that I'm more interested in than I was early on. Like the potential for it to do certain things. I can't say more. But in Witcher fashion, some of the side quests are incredibly. Sebastian, his side quest that transpires.
Who's your favorite classmate?
Probably Natty.
That's Veronica's. I like Sebastian. I don't know why.
Well, keep playing.
All right.
We'll see how you like it.
Uh-oh.
I'm not saying anything. No, there's a cool relationship between Sebastian, his brother Ominous, and you and your place in that role. And I can't say anything, but I like all the side stories quite a bit. Sebastian's is interesting, and they're interesting because they're a little more complex. They don't just, it's not just like, my sister needs this. Like you said, it's well, she got cursed and we don't know who did it. We don't know the counter curse, and I'm trying to help her.
Oh, and the uncle's like overly practical about it. Like, she's going to die. Just accept it.
He's like, there's nothing you can do about it. And he's like, I'm going to find something. And you're like, okay, well, I don't know if the roads you're going to go down to find something are going to be good for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's really cool. I like it a lot. And I'm still very much into it. Sons of the Forest came out, as we talked about. We played a little multiplayer session over the weekend. That's, I have been like fiending for a new survival experience, and I really liked the first one, and this literally just feels like the Forest 2.0. Like, let's take the concept of the first game and just sort of flesh it out a little more. Modern day graphics, deeper in some systems. Obviously, it's not full release yet, so they're going to be adding more stuff. But that is kind of pulling me away. But the great news about that is Sons of the Forest, I really only want to play in earnest when everyone else is on. So like, I'm solo playing, I'm logging into our multiplayer session and like getting some logs and trying to fix the roof. Like, I'm not going out and farming caves by myself, because guess what? That's scary as fuck. I don't want to do it by myself.
Scary out there.
They're super scary. Those games are much less scary when you have buddies to laugh at each other with. It makes it way more of an adventure than it is just scared in the dark. I'm rambling, but the first night that I streamed it by myself because no one else had gotten it yet. And I didn't know this, but Virginia is like, she will show up at night out of nowhere. And like, I was streaming it by myself, and you got Kelvin walking around, and I know there's mutants and cannibals. And I thought I was very overzealous. I thought I could get the pre-made log cabin done by myself before the first night, and it was not done in time. So I'm immediately petrified because anywhere I look is dark forest and the forest. And I sent Kelvin out to get trees. He's taking way too long in between trees. So I'd be like kind of just wandering around the half-built house trying to I'm like, maybe I'll just stay hidden this whole time. And in my head, I'm like, you're streaming, idiot. You can't do that. And every time he walked up, I would think it was a cannibal. It would scare the shit out of me. And then middle of the night, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cut down a tree because I'm going to help. Kelvin's taking too long. I get one right close to the camp. I can still see my fire. It's dark, but I can manage. Start chopping it down. Look to my left. I see Virginia full speed sprinting.
Oh no.
Through the forest at me. I didn't know it was her at first. And I'm like, ah!
That you were streaming when that happened?
I don't think I screamed, but I was like, what is that? Yeah. Anyway, it's a good time. We're going to leave. We're done. That's the end. Unceremonious ending. Boop. End recording.
Goodbye.
No, I'm kidding. Where can everybody find you at?
They can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Dr. Gloom MD, which is DRGLOOMMM. See, I threw you off, bitch. You don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, all right?
You don't know what I'm going to do?
DRGLOOMMD. Where can they find you, Christopher?
We're like an old married couple. I'm like, it's been 94 episodes. I think I know what you're going to do, honey. You can find me at Crispy Mana or Mana, CRISPYMANA. It's M as in Mancy. I did that last time, but I love Archer so much. Both my son and the animated show, from whence that joke comes. From whence? Anyway, not looking forward to those hospital couches. So I'll bitch more about that later.
Yeah, cuck chair coming for you. Look out.
I bought something to combat. I'll tell you about it next week, or I'll tell you about it offline.
I can't wait. Can't wait to hear it.
All right. I love you. Bye-bye.
I love you. Bye.